All right, Vanessa, seeing as you're so nervous, why don't you start the check-in at in a minute's time? Let's see if
Okay.
this works. All right, go for it. All right, Vanessa.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm nervous. Very
Great.
nervous. I'm unsure of what I'm doing, but I'm here. Uh, I've only just managed to get my computer out. Everything else has been on my phone, so it's all very beginning for me. But I'm good. I'm glad to be here. It's good to be here. And that's me. Over to the next.
Great. Who are you going to tag, Vanessa?
Well, I'll go in order. I'll tag Alia.
Hi everyone. I'm feeling very good. I work for Recovery Connections and I'm a lived experience support specialist. I'll hand over to Emma.
Well, with just starting with Recovery Connections, just got my DBS back, and I'm going to work alongside Smart as well. Yeah, just getting my feet in there, so under the table. But yeah, I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm excited. So, and I'll hand over to Charlie.
My name is Charlie, and I run a group called the Blueberry Health and Wellbeing, and we teach people strength training on the beach. We walk people into the gym. We do sunrise strolls. We do meditation classes, as well as working alongside recovery agencies throughout Hartlepool. I've been in recovery now for 21 months. I was an addict for 30 years, and I've been sober for 21 months now. And I'm feeling really I'm in the fellowship of AA, and I sponsor quite a lot of my chaps who are also alcoholics, and I lost a chap on Sunday night. The chap committed suicide, and so it's been a really, really tough week, because I've never really experienced anything like this, and it's been quite a challenging week. And
So
I think Kai, is it Kai?
Yeah, I'm Kai. I work for Recovery Connections in Gateshead. I'm a community coach. I'm doing good this week. I should be starting to get my own sort of caseload starting this month, basically. So I'm quite happy about that. Yeah, I think mostly I'm just doing good. And I'll pass it to Simon. No.
Hiya, I'm Simon. I'm a recovery coach, community coach for Recovery Connections in Sunderland, and I'm doing well.
thanks, Simon. Sohan, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm just checking in. Yeah, I'm checking in. Rushed again. Really busy.
It's great to see you here.
You too.
Alia, I muted you just because there was some background noise there, but and then I asked you to unmute if you wanted to come back.
I'm going to go to my car and connect from my phone because can you hear the drilling?
Oh, that's
It's distracting for everybody. Give me 5 minutes, okay?
No
Sorry.
problem. No problem.
Sorry.
Don't apologize. It's all good. Okay, Jit, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'm Jit from Leicester Directs of Free and Recovery, lived experience recovery organisation focusing on the Black and Brown community here in Leicester, with a culturally sensitive approach. to recovery because the city is made up of such people. So there's a need.
Great. Okay, is that everyone? Just me. Okay. So I'm David. I'm checking in from Cape Town. I had quite a grueling trip here. I left at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning from London. I had a 3-hour delay on the plane in London, which got me into Doha, where I had an 8-hour delay, which then got me into Cape Town, where I had a 5-hour delay. And I eventually arrived at my son's house at 1:30 in the morning last night. But I woke up this morning. My youngest son is 18 years old today. And yeah, and I've got a grandson here. And I just went to go visit my son's grandmother, who's suffering from leukemia and getting to that stage of her life. Yeah. So there's some heavy things in the air. And Charlie, I would just like to kind of maybe just offer some support where you've lost someone through suicide. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming up to 3 years since my nephew hung himself in his mother's garden as a result of alcohol and mental health. So it's something that we face on a daily basis as people with lived experience working in this industry. And I've had over like 5,000 people go through my clinic over the 20 years, and we've had about 20 deaths. Nobody, touch wood, has ever died at the clinic. So the success rate is pretty high. If you want to kind of compare it from 50 deaths to 5,000 people, that's pretty good success rate. However, if one of those people is a family member, it's a fuck up. It's never going to be okay. So Vanessa, well done for building the container. Yeah, this is about creating a container, a space where we learn about the skills of coaching and using coaching as a skill set to support us in our roles within our respective organization. Just to bring Jit up to speed, we'll go for 10 weeks. Yep, it's 2 hours a week. And then you've completed 20 hours of classroom attendance to add to your skill set, which I'm assuming a lot of people have got already. Yeah. So and there are 5 things that we cover. One is the coaching conversation, the continuums, the system, the 4Q leadership model, and actually building containers. So that's the theoretical knowledge that you need to kind of learn over the next few weeks. And I certainly know Charlie, Kai, Vanessa, and Emma have just done the 3-day intensive training as well recently. Emma did it the week before the riots kicked off in Hartlepool, and I just did the other 3 days in Recovery Connections once things kicked off in the middle of Middlesbrough. And that field is also just kind of settling as well. So I think more important than ever, this work is necessary because at the core of it, substance use disorder or addiction is a diversity issue at the heart of it, and it's a systemic problem. And we try to move from a culture of addiction or a culture of adversity to a culture of recovery or a culture of resilience. Yeah. So our organizations, we need to be resilient as we go and work in the culture of addiction or adversity. So Charlie, if it's all right with you, I'd just like to offer some support for you as you're experiencing suicide from one of your sponsees. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right. So would you like some support?
Yeah, I would love some your support actually. If I'm honest, and I'm with you, I've not really dealt with it. Even when I'm talking now, I can tell that I've not dealt with this man yet. Because what I've just done is I've just carried on as normal. I was like, I don't know anything else, and I've been sober now, abstinence for 21 months, and I've just been going and going and going and going. And I got this news on. I was with the lad on the Sunday afternoon, and then I got the news on the Monday morning that he committed suicide and he was no longer with us, off his mum, who I was quite close to. So I just decided to carry on my day, and then that's kind of went to carrying on my week. Not really telling anybody how I actually feel inside, because I don't really know how I'm actually feeling myself, because I don't really know how to these are like new emotions and stuff that's inside me. I know that there's a disturbance inside me, but I just don't know how to I don't know how to vocalize it, or I don't know how to express it, man, just yet. Because man, I was in the madness for nearly 30 years. And my railings I used to hold on to was called Mr. Alcohol and Mr. Cocaine, and now they're gone. So I tried to now hold on to the fellowship and in God, and that's kind of what I've been doing this week. But yeah, I'm still very much disturbed. This is what I'm trying to say to you. I probably do need that help and support. Even though my ego is going, no, man, you can do it all yourself. You're fine. I can't.
So, and what is it that you're trying to do by yourself?
I suppose I'm just trying to carry on and just fix other people's problems, and maybe not trying to stop and fix my own problem. I think that's probably what I'm trying to do. I'm probably trying to distract myself more than anything. I know that I've been distracting myself a lot. And normally, I like to take myself to my quiet meditation places in the morning, and that's kind of a wee bit stopped. And I'm kind of running again. I'm running instead of going, right, Charlie, it's time to slow down and take some time here. But I think I'm definitely distracting. That's and that's definitely my method at the moment.
All right. So Alia, just to bring you up to speed, Charlie lost a sponsee to suicide over the weekend. Yep. And so we've just decided to kind of give some support to that, to Charlie, around that. So that's kind of where we're at. So welcome back to the container. This stuff happens all the time. And for me, I think the important thing to do is to normalize our own personal feelings around it, because I mean this stuff does happen, yeah. And Charlie, I'm hearing you've got two roles here. One, you've got a lived experienced organization that you run and support people with physical health and meditation and that sort of stuff. And then the other side, he was a sponsee of yours, where the role is different, where you take someone through the steps as part of spiritual, I'm going to say, payment for your own well-being. So which role would you like us to support you with?
I think probably the lived experience would probably be the best support, because if I'm honest with you, I don't have the lived experience of this, of someone dying while I have been completely sober from drinking drugs. I've never experienced this, so I don't really have the lived experience, even though I've been around death loads. I haven't been around my death while I've been being free from substance.
All right.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And first of all, I just want to commend you, first of all, for bringing it to the container and saying, fuck, guys, I just need some support here. Like, what the fuck do we do? Okay. So in the lived experience perspective, in the organizational perspective, in the professional perspective, yeah, what I need to do, yeah, in my organization, and we'll go around the room and get everyone else's experience, but for me is to remain compassionate to the people that are impacted by this, and to watch my cynicism that kind of goes, ah, fuck, just another death. Like, fuck, and I've had to, like, because you hear it all the time, and I can lose my compassion. And then that can leak out onto the people that are being impacted by this. Yeah. So, and what we do as a clinical team, yeah, is we get together and talk about it and just try and explore what we could have done better. Yeah. So from a professional, practical point of view, in our organization, it's just to like review what happened. Yep. If we could have improved anything, how we're all personally impacted, and how do we remain compassionate for our roles. Yeah. So I think that's where I'll leave it for the moment, and we'll just see what other wisdom's in the container around that. Is that okay, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yep, great. Okay. So who would like to build on top of what's just been said?
I will.
Yeah.
I've never I've never lost anybody to suicide, but the first death I dealt with in my sobriety was my granddad. And it's kind of like, it was weird because I didn't have a way to block it. I didn't have a way to forget, like, at the moment. But we, at the same time, he knew, and we knew he was going to die. Which I suppose the person who committed suicide also knows at the time. But it's the way I dealt with it is I actually made myself take time to focus on my own thoughts, because it's all right keeping busy, but that's a distraction. Feelings are always going to be there when the distraction's gone. You need to give yourself some time, some space. I went for a walk on the beach with my dog as usual. And I just give myself that time to to process it. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever understand suicide personally, because I've never experienced anything with anybody who's, but within death and my sobriety, I had to make sure that I took the time to process my thoughts and leave all the distractions behind. That was my focus, was myself. And that sounds selfish, but I had to process my thoughts because it was the only way in sobriety that I could do it and think about it. And I had to think about it. You have to give yourself time, because otherwise it's still there. You're blocking it out, like I did with alcohol. I used to block everything out with alcohol. And keeping busy is good, but it's also blocking it out. You need to process some thoughts. So yeah.
Thanks, Emma.
That's my opinion anyway, but I mean, everyone's individual.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. I'll come in, David. Charlie, good to see you again. And I'll just start by saying, well done for your 21 months in sobriety. And I'm sorry to sort of hear, the loss that you're experiencing. And I like what Emma said, I mean, it's okay to keep busy, but if we're blocking it out, then it can be sort of harmful for our own emotional well-being. how we carry ourselves, because one of the things as human beings we don't want to do, we don't want to feel pain. Particularly, the toughest pain in life is the pain of loss and the bereavement that comes through it. Death of someone close, death of a loved one. And as I'm listening, David, it's been a while, and I'm getting emotional now. Because my nephew, he was under 21. He took his life, mental health and addiction, and I mentioned that before. And I'm thinking about two of my patients, two of our clients. Alexander, he took his life. I don't think he was just 21. He just turned 21. That was mental health. Father was an alcoholic, addiction in the family. And then another one recently, under 25, he took his life hanging. His father found him hanging in the house. So as David was saying, we hear this. How do I process this personally? Having children and then having lost so many people in my recovery over the years. I can't even, there's been that many, Charlie, I can't even give you a figure. But the pain, it hurts. And what Emma said, we got to be busy and get on with life, but we got to feel the grief, the process, the different stages of it. If we don't, then we will become sick. Then we want to self-medicate at some point or another. And but the other thing around it is, how do we support the families? It's difficult because we had to go and identify one of the bodies, because Alexander, the way he took his life, right, was in a car crash. We found out through his letters that's how he wanted to do it. He wanted to go, in a car crash, straight into a tree. And his body was really, really bad. And we had to go with his father, Sam, who was 14, to go and identify his body and all the other arrangements, because he couldn't do it by himself. So we had to be there as professionals to support him through this process. And then the children, and then the parents, and then the grandparents. But how we did it as a team, and we did it as a recovery community. I'm part of the fellowship as well, but we have a recovery community. And my Lero organization, we have a large recovery community as well. So people know each other, or they know of each other, and everybody kind of came to the aid to help out in such a traumatic time. But the most important thing in this, Charlie, is I think you're going to start to feel it now, because we're talking about it.
Yeah, I am.
David is opened the container now. You're in a contained space now. Hearing different sort of experiences and different suggestions, and the thing is to allow ourselves to grieve. We're living in a culture where we get on with things. No, we live, we feel, and if we're hurting, if we lose someone, we grieve, we cry, we weep, we let it out, we share it with someone close, someone who's not going to judge us. It takes strength. We have to grieve. If we don't grieve, then spiritually we are really disconnecting and decaying in a way, because grief is part of life. Death is part of life. None of us want it, but when we encounter it, it's not nice. It's horrible. I'll just finish on this, David, quickly, right? Because my father, I wanted my father to see me sober and clean in my recovery. I was so lucky that my father saw me, because all my life he just seen me in active addiction from the age of 9. But towards the end of his life, he got to see me sober for about over a year. And then he passed away. And that was my first loss, Charlie, in sobriety. The loss of my father. How do I deal with that? How do I deal with the pain I'm feeling and that I don't want to acknowledge? I don't even want to support my family because I'm just feeling something. But I'm so used to numbing my feeling. I know what will fix it.
Yeah.
The bottle will fix it. Or I'll shoot up, or I'll take a pill, or I'll take some sedatives. But that wasn't the solutions, because if I did that, that would have compromised my recovery. That's the last thing I wanted to do. So I've been through those early day, kind of transitions of, experiencing grief, facing grief, and not wanting to deal with it, and then having to deal with it, and then asking for the support, and then with all of that, kind of getting through it. You know, just I want to sort of put that into the container, David.
Thanks, Sohan.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Sohan. Okay. So, Charlie, what's it like just having a space where people kind of see you and acknowledge you?
It's a new experience. It's a definite new experience. That's for sure. I knew that I was going to bring this to the container today because I don't know what it was, but I just thought I need to share this. If I'm honest with you, some of my battle this week has been in the fellowship. Because I brought it into the fellowship in the Monday night, and it was kind of like blasé, kind of like, well, this is what happens. You get a big book and a black tie, and people were saying, well, I'm not surprised, man, by this, and I wanted to scream all week. I wanted to scream at them because I don't want to be hardened by death. I don't want to be. So the whole week I felt as if I've put on a mask to harden myself in the fellowship because my people in the fellowship are quite hardened to death. And I don't feel as if I've been allowed to share what is in my heart, what I'm feeling, because I'm feeling really like, you know, I've lost a sponsee, someone who I really, really know, and who I had such a lovely bond with, and ultimately it's just another human being, and who had a life and so young and family, man, as Zohan said, but I just felt like my barriers coming up because individuals in the fellowship are really hardened by death because they've been in the fellowship for so long, and that it reminds me of a police force who have seen quite a lot. I get that, but I'm like, so I've just kind of went and put on all these masks, and I know that I've done that. I just as soon as I mentioned this in the fellowship, I just instantly went mask, and I masked up, and I was like, whoa, and then I knew by this morning. I thought, oh, you're going to have to bring this in. I knew what I was going to do. Because I knew I would be safe in here because of the 3-day course in a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I need to bring this to my tribe, you know, and just see what comes of it. I had no plans to. I'm just going to go blah. Just see. That's how I felt. I knew this week I'd masked up, and I knew like I had to try and get these masks off, or try and get some advice off of you guys. And you know, and as I've just heard, Zohan and Emma speak, so far, honestly, it's like a fucking relief. It's like a relief. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so just like experience that fucking, oh, thank fuck. Yeah. So yeah. One thing I noticed when Matthew, my nephew, hung himself, is how my sister's friends and support were absolutely fucking useless at dealing with this. They just didn't have the skill set to actually just listen to it. As soon as they heard the story, it was like, oh yeah, well, they'd jump in and frap. Yeah, they'd want to fix, advise, rescue, or project their story onto it. Yeah, and it's often harder when you tell a story to someone to actually tell the story and then to have to deal with the way that they're responding to the story. Does that make sense, Charlie?
Yeah, it does actually. It does. It does. Loads.
So it's really great you can come here, and I just want to say, in your head, the way that you're responding to this is very well. You're saying, fuck, I need some support with this. I know I'm masking up. I need to put those down somewhere. Where can I do it? Oh, let me go there. So your response to this is one of healthy, is one of wellness. Does that make sense? It's like, fuck,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
I'm
I'm glad you
overwhelmed.
said that.
I don't know what to do. The fellowship is all fucking, yeah, when it happens, harden up, man up, deal with it. But I'm feeling really fucking sensitive and vulnerable. I love the guy. He was
Yeah.
responsive. Yeah. Okay.
And Charlie, and I think it's the level of relationship, the closeness that you have, and the rest of the fellowship may not have had that as well.
Yeah.
And it's very personal to you because you invest your time and energy getting to know and share and connect and make time and give yourself and all of that kind of valuable stuff that's essential in supporting someone, sponsoring someone.
Thanks, Sohan.
How does Charlie's experience impact the rest of the container? Alia, Jit, Kai, Vanessa, Simon?
So for me, I'm in quite a similar situation of my mum passed away 4 months ago now.
Oh.
And that was my first sort of experience of loss whilst being sober as well. And I think for me, the sort of most important thing was just to like accept feelings as they come, and so, I don't know how to describe it. Sort of just let them fucking set in, let them, whatever it is, let them make you cry, let them fucking piss you off, everything, and then breathe out again, let it go, type of thing. And I think the sort of connection that you were talking about of coming to the right place to speak about things is really important, because I've found that most of the sort of best thing for me has actually been one of my workmates here who's also had her mum passed away about 4 years ago. And it was really nice just to be able to, sort of talk to somebody who's a bit further along the line than you are. And, I think it's just getting told, like, yeah, it's normal to feel like that. Or, that sort of thing was really, really helpful for me.
Thanks, Kai.
You've just cracked my heart open, mate. Really, thank you so much for just sharing your real personal, bringing that to the container. Yeah, so I'm just really kind of like, oh fuck. So thank you so much for that. And I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Alia, did you want to come in there?
I don't even know. I feel quite emotional. I have a lot of empathy because I lost like my nana, but I was still in the madness when I lost my nana. And I sort of blocked it out, but now I'm in sobriety. Like the other day, I just broke down. I didn't know what was the matter with me, and anyway, I do bereavement counselling now, and I didn't know like how much it affects you not. So I used to smoke cannabis and I used to block it out. I didn't used to think of it, but I've been having like my dreams, and she's in my dreams all the time and things like that. But I don't know, it's just, I suppose you just have to reach out to people and stuff like that, don't you? But I just want to say sorry for your loss, Kai, and Charlie.
Thanks.
I hope you get like sorted soon, and just keep reaching out to people. Don't bottle things up. How are you feeling?
Alia, are you okay to go a little bit further down this path?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
What was
don't
your
know.
name?
My nana,
Yeah, what was her name?
Maureen.
Maureen.
Yeah, but the worst part about we didn't expect, like we didn't have, like she was, well, we thought she was fitting well. We didn't have a clue like she was going to die or anything like that. It was just such a shock to the system,
Okay.
and I
So
didn't really believe she died. Sorry, well, go on, David.
no. So it's one of those deaths that wasn't expected. It was sudden and out of the blue, as
Yeah,
opposed to being with someone and walking with them through it. Yep. So
yeah,
for example, my son's grandmother's got leukemia, and I went to see her today, and it was most probably the last time. Yep, I might see, which is a different type of death to one
yeah.
where somebody dies naturally, and which is a different type of death when somebody dies by I'm going to say choice.
Yeah,
Just because I don't know how, I haven't got a better word for suicide. But
yeah.
like, so I know with my nephew, he just kind of said, fuck, I can't carry on like this anymore. I need some peace. And my sister's very graphic in the presentation of the story. She said when they cut him down from the tree and his body landed on the grass with a thud, she said she felt a relief come over her of like, oh my God, the thing I've been worried about all my life has happened.
Yeah.
And then her struggle with feeling relief that she'd lost her son can be quite kind of, because he was suffering. Yeah. So if your nan was here now, yeah, how would she feel about your recovery and what you're doing?
Or she'd be over the moon. She used to say like she used to literally beg me and cry. Like she just said, I feel like I've lost you, like you're not even the same person, and that's what makes me more sad. Because she's not here to see me, do you know what I mean? But
I can
yeah.
feel it coming up. That brings tears to me. Yeah, I can
Alia, maybe I don't know if you
Huh?
believe in, but Alia, maybe I don't know if you believe in this, but my family are very spiritual, and they always believe that. I was lucky enough for my granddad to see me sober before he went, but maybe your nana showing up in your dreams is just her visitation and her way of telling you.
Yeah, definitely. I do believe in things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
So there's
Sorry.
yes, Kai? Go Kai.
So for me, like my mum was a major part of my recovery. And she did get to see me clean for 2 years before she did pass. And for me, that's a big sort of source of motivation, if that makes sense, of the sort of last she saw of me was, I'm in a good place, things like that. And that's given me a lot of motivation to, I think, in a way, like stay clean so that her efforts didn't go to waste, if that makes sense. Because I was a fucking horrible bastard to her at times, and she loved me throughout that. And I think that what I've took from it is that, I will continue the path I'm on now out of respect for what she did. And I think, like in your case, my mum's death was very, very sudden. I just got a call one day from my dad, and he said, you need to come back to Middlesbrough and you need to get down to the hospital because your mum's not very well. And she'd been to the hospital quite a bit, but it was for, stuff like, she's had an operation and she's fine. So that's what I thought that was. But she just had a stroke, nobody found her, and yeah, she's just gone. And it was that, I think when it's with a sudden death, so when it's with suicide or with any type of sudden death, the way it fucking slaps you is like nothing else, I think.
Yeah.
And like you said, David, I can sort of relate to that feeling guilty about sort of relief. Do you know, what you saying? It was your sister, sorry. Yeah. For me, so when she got to the hospital, most likely she was already brain dead, but we had to wait 2 days before we could, fully sort of like switch the life support off, things like that. And when that life support was switched off and we got that call, I felt really guilty because I felt so fucking relieved that it was like done in a way, if that makes sense, that this, like, I didn't sleep for those 2 days at all, nothing, didn't eat anything. And then when that finally happened, I don't know why, but I felt the most relief I've ever felt. It was, in a way, it's like that it's finished, it's done with now. And now I think that was a mistake because I think it's something I'm probably never ever gonna properly get over, if that makes sense. I think it's always going to be something that will be missing in me for the rest of my life. And I think it's just, I'm getting better at coping with it, basically. But I think it's always going to be there. Yeah, sorry.
So Kai,
Can I just quickly say,
yes, Vanessa, please, hello.
I am so with all of you. I'm so sorry for your losses, but I cannot. I've got loads that I would like to say, but I really cannot bring words to this right now.
You just did. You brought amazing words, and that's most probably one of the wisest things to say. It's like, fuck, I've no idea what to say to you in this. It must be fucking hard, but I don't know what to say. So Vanessa, yeah, Jesus, welcome to your first Zoom. Now fucking talk about jumping in the deep end, huh? And that's it. That's the other thing in when these things happen is like, how does humor come in and help relieve the tension in a respectful way? Yeah.
I think people are different in that. To me, humor totally should come in at every point. And when you were saying, Kai, about your mum, I've forgotten what it was you were saying. No, about the relief and the graphicness you were saying, David, about you. And when you're in that moment of death, the graphicness is so mild, but for people that aren't in that moment of grieving, it's quite shocking. They don't expect somebody to be so graphic about something. Well, I think but obviously because they're not in that moment. That's what I think. And because at that moment of loss for things, it's awful. Yeah.
I think what I found unusual was the laughter. After losing my father, all the friends and family, the comforters, everybody's gone now. The process of grieving collectively, over a period of weeks and weeks and weeks, everybody's gone now. And we're left with our mother, my brothers and sisters. We're the only ones left in that house with our grief now. There's no external people there. But what I found unusual, and I still remember this nearly 30 years ago, and it's still with me, it's like we're grieving. Everybody's grieving differently. My brothers, my sisters, they are different stages of their grief. Mums are at a different stage of her grief. I'm at a different stage of my grief. But what I found unusual was one night, from crying, and then my mum telling stories about my dad, stories that were humorous, that were amusing, that were a little comedic. And we're just laughing. Everybody just laughing, like a belly laughing. And I remember that being very unusual, because with death, we associate grief, sadness, and sorrow. We don't look at the other broader dimensions that are associated with the healing process. I guess we're moving towards acceptance. It can take years or it can take months, depending on how we process and share grief. So I found that really, really unusual, the laughter. You know, didn't realize it was part of grief, and that when I started to do, research and talk to other people, it's a big part of the process. And we can often feel guilty. Oh, I should be laughing. I shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
My granddad,
No.
my granddad he refused to let us be sad, and he at his funeral, he actually had a Morecambe and Wise song that had us all in stitches. Because he said, "You will not cry at my funeral," but we all cried laughing instead
Well,
to celebrate his life. So yeah.
I do think
Where are you in all of this? No, don't worry, Kai. Sorry, mate. Did you want to come in there, Kai?
sorry, don't worry.
Oh.
I mean, just hearing those, what you guys have been saying. I remember when my grandfather passed away, I was in my madness. And I remember the day before he actually passed, I was in London. And obviously I was drinking and drugging and everything. And my mum phoned and says, "Oh, you need to come home to see your granddad in hospital because he might not make it." And I was like quite blasé about it, really. I was like, "Oh yeah, he'll be fine. He's not gonna go, is he?" And yeah, the next day I went back and he had gone. And for a long time I lived with that. I had to live with that, where it was anger at myself and all of those emotions. Why didn't I just go back? I couldn't go back because I was drunk and I was hiding my addiction from everyone. So it was twofold. And now, after a number of years in recovery, I look at it and I wish I could have just sat with him and my gran and just talked about their journey to this country, why they came here, how was it like there, how is it here when they first came, everything that they felt. A lot of the stuff those that come migrate now feel, and it would have been nice to have heard that. But I also flip it on its head, and there are still people here who I can talk to about that sort of stuff. My parents and my family, and my mom's from Fiji. How did she come here? She came here on boat, but what was the journey like? So what we've started to do is record stories that they tell so we can pass that on. Because at some point they're going to go, we know that. So we can pass that on to their grandkids and down the generations so they can hear these stories. And yeah, that was the biggest regret for me. But, I flipped it on its head and made it work in such a way that, again, we laugh about my granddad. I was the only grandson who used to go to the shop to get his tobacco for his pipe. And I was the only one they would give it to. And he would always drink pills, 1 bottle of pills a night, And I don't drink, but that's fine. And it's those stories. And there's certain foods he liked. And on his birthday and the date of his passing, every year we'll eat those things. And yeah, over time, I think time is the biggest healer. And you get to that point where you share funny stories and you also share sad stories, but you learn to manage that over time, I think, and you learn to accept it and not let those emotions harm you in any way or form, because I think that's the biggest thing, trying to just manage those emotions in a positive way. Yeah, sorry, that's just something that triggered in my head from conversations. Just
don't apologize. If anything, it's to spark my curiosity. If I may ask you, where did your granddad come from?
So he was born in India, then he went to Africa, and
Okay.
then to Uganda, and then obviously he got kicked out of Uganda, and my dad and family had to go to Mombasa, and then from there, but one by one they sort of came to this country.
Okay, so it was a proper fuck up, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. You can thank Idi Amin for that,
Yeah, okay. All right. And from a customary perspective, do you what kind of religious or faith-based process do you have? Does
Um,
your
yeah, so I'm Hindu, and the whole mourning process is 12 days of mourning, you
okay?
know, and obviously I'm trying to sober up within those 12 days and wanting to drink more. So it was quite a tough time, one, trying to deal with the death of my granddad, plus also trying to feel and look a bit normal after those days of drinking. And yeah, it's long because you get a lot of people coming to visit and see you and saying I'm sorry. But at that point, I was so angry with myself. I didn't really want to hear it. You know,
Mm.
it was resentment. It was my thing is to shout at people when it's hurting me. At that when it was then, I was quite push people away sort of person, and I did that to a lot of people at that time. But it's how
So
I dealt with it. Yeah.
so there's like customary 12 days of mourning or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh wow, I've just learned something new.
Yeah, so I think Paramore demo. Yeah, Paramore 12 days is men and 13 days is women. So it's a lot of religious songs and stuff like that. And then the funeral day comes, and then there's a couple of days after that as well. So, but I think up to the point of the funeral, it's quite tough. Once the funeral's done, it's a relief, you know, you can breathe a bit, and that horrible moment is gone, and he's on to his next life or wherever he's gone to. And then after that point, it became a lot more humorous. You know, we were talking a lot more about him. I mean, my gran was still struggling a lot, but we were dealing it with humor at that point.
Yeah. Alia, how is it with your grandma?
What do you mean, sorry?
You're Muslim, yes?
Oh, yeah, this is my mum's mum. She's English.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that must okay, because I know if I'm correct, Muslim people, it's in the grave straight away within 24 hours, like the
Yeah,
Jews.
yeah.
Yeah. But whereas in you know, Christian side of things, it can take a lot longer.
Yeah,
Week
it
or
was like 3 weeks for my nana.
oh wow. Okay. And is that from the Western side?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
okay. Neither do I. I'm just curious. So yeah.
Yeah, no, she was in a funeral place for like 3 weeks because they kept getting, so I don't know if there's like the stuff the body, don't they? And they kept getting it wrong, so it didn't look like her. So it took like a long time, but then a body so we could go and see her as much as we wanted for them 3 weeks. No, sorry, about 2 weeks. And then they told us we can't go and see her because her body, like she started to smell and stuff like that when she was like decaying. So yeah.
This is a big topic we're talking about today in this
Mhm.
container. It's like fucking decaying bodies and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kai, what was it like for what faith ceremonies do you have? If you practiced any?
Yeah, so none of us are really religious. We just went to a crematorium.
Yeah.
My mum didn't leave any instructions for what she wanted, so we sort of just based it off what she'd sort of discussed in passing. Like oh, if I die, I'd like this played at my funeral type of thing. But yeah, she didn't want a gravestone or anything like that. She'd always mentioned that she really didn't want a gravestone. But for me personally, I have my own sort of set up like a little shrine at home type of thing. I put flowers on it. I make her a cup of tea every morning. Yeah. Well, I was again though. This is something like with the humor. My partner was saying, "Oh, when I was out with the shop, she was like, get some tea bags for your mum and get like Tetley, the brand she liked." And I came back with the cheapest brand, And my partner was sort of like, oh, why have you done that? Come on, you need to be like respectful of your mum. And I was like, she's dead. She's not bothered. She's got bigger problems. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And I think for me, humor is quite a big thing. Like it's very fresh for me, to be honest. Like and especially, so for example, there's still some stuff like I don't like going back to Middlesbrough too much. It's a place that's triggering for me, both for my, my addiction, because it's where I did everything. And it's now also triggering for sort of, I walk down a street and this is a street I might have walked with my mum at one point. So that's hard for me to do at the moment. But I think, that like these little rituals we all have, I think are very valuable in that, for me at least, it gives me a sort of, I don't believe in like an afterlife or anything like that. So it gives me a sort of connectedness still with my mum in that, it gives me a sort of opportunity. I'm having a shit day or something. I'm talking to a picture type of thing. It's a little bit like absurd when you think about it, but it reminds me of sort of like where my mum is to me now, in that she's in my every thought, my every action, and in the ways she raised me, in the ways she helped me, and the things she taught me, type of thing. And of the times we spent together, that's something that even when she died, I remember, like when we went to go see her, I just thanked her. I didn't cry or anything like that. I just thanked her because I'm lucky enough to have had 24 years with her. I'd like to have had a bit more mind, but I'm just grateful for that. I think that's how I've been mostly processing this, is that out of 7 billion people in the world, whatever, 3-4 billion of them are women. I was lucky enough to have been born to her and to have got to know her. Sorry, the fucking light's on a sensor and it keeps going off. It's pissing me off. I have to get up and sort of waft every now and then. But yeah, that's my sort of little like rituals, I think, of it.
Memories. You've always got those memories, and she's living alongside the rest of your life in your memory, your mum. That's how I see it as well for my mum, my dad. Yeah.
Are your parents still alive, Vanessa?
No, my mum died when I was pregnant with my youngest. My dad died 4 years ago, and then my partner died 3 years ago. So I really feel for my sons. At the time, they would have had their dad. We would have had 3 teenagers at the same time, because my youngest was just going into, he was 12, he would have been, but he died in Christmas lockdown, after Christmas lockdown, of cancer. And so I very much feel for my children. That's the saddest thing, I think, when certain things happen. They haven't got them. 24 is very young to lose your mum. Kai, yeah. And I was thinking about I'm not sure where I was. I was doing where I was when my partner died. He came home. Fortunately, I was, in one of my long periods of abstinence when he found out, he went in for a scan, found out he had cancer, and we brought him home. Well, by the time the hospital had got it, we brought him home for him to die at home. So over the Christmas lockdown, so it was a bit isolating, but there was me and the boys. And I was very fortunate to be in abstinence at the beginning of that, but by the end, it was a case of, well, in between that, we decided to celebrate the rest. He wanted to celebrate with me, so I ended up drinking, and that's where So also, Elia, I feel that about your grandma, that you were still getting stoned when she died. And I don't know about that. But I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Thank you.
But that must make you feel really bad. But in the bigger picture, your grandma still had you, etc. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of lived experience there, hey, Vanessa.
Yes, and we were talking about how
Yeah,
to deal with this, etc. And I don't know yet. Just carry on. You know, life goes on. Be grateful. I'm grateful to be still living. I'm grateful for so many things that do go right, you know. My experiences.
And yet 15 minutes ago, you said you didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to
Well,
say.
I didn't.
Actually, you got so much fucking wisdom here.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. Charlie, how are you doing? Charlie?
Oh yeah. I'm doing all right. I feel loads better than when I first came on the call, let me tell you. I've just, do you know that way when you just feel yourself, when I've been listening to Kai and Isla and Vanessa and everyone else, and I've just felt myself just going, I've just felt myself, my energy and my levels just going down, and you know, and I've just been listening to everyone else, and I was like, oh, this is nice. I don't mean, you know, it's just been nice listening and getting everyone else's story. In actual fact, I think for the first time this week I haven't felt alone in all this, which has been great, and the humour that Kai brought there about the tea bags, I was kind of like, oh man, you know, and I just think this is the stuff that it's just been lovely to hear, actually, and just been lovely to listen. And I honestly feel so much better. I just feel so much better. So thank you, everyone. Honestly, thank you.
I always say the problem isn't with the person that's telling the story. The problem lies with the person's inability to hear the story. Hello, Katie.
Apologies, I'm later today. I had some mandatory training.
That's all right. That's all right. So it's great to have you here. We created the container, and this is going to, well, what's come into the container is Charlie lost a sponsee to suicide over the weekend. Yeah. So it's like, and I know what you've been through in your organization. So when you arrived here, I just thought, oh fuck, you know, I wonder how this is going to land with Katie, because if I may say, Katie, one of her organization lost someone, a volunteer, a couple of weeks ago to we think it was accidental overdose. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
So the conversation has been grief, yeah, and there's been kind of suicide where somebody kind of decides, you know, they can't anymore, yeah, or they're making that choice, and that's impacted several people in the container. Myself, Sohan, Charlie. There's death through illness, where somebody's got a terminal illness and you've walked with that person. Yeah. There's sudden death where you get a phone call and it's just happened, and then how that impacts. It's not part of the, yeah. And then we started to move on to the different cultural traditions that we as human beings go through to help cope with it. And Kai told us a beautiful story about he's got a little shrine where if he brings cheap tea bags, his girlfriend gives him a hard time. You know, bring decent tea bags for your lady mum. Jit told us about it's customary in his culture for a 12-day process. Yeah. And then we spoke about Islam and Judaism. When somebody dies, it's, you know, they're in the ground very quickly within 24 hours. Yeah. And we're just talking about ways that we cope as individual humans in our own experience. And we're talking about how we work in our organizations as professionals. I don't care if you're a volunteer, you still behave in a professional way in your organization. and you need to be compassionate and review what's going on in the organization, not kind of cold and hard. Which, if I may, Charlie, was a bit of what Charlie was experiencing in his 12-step fellowship, where the message is, "Oh fuck, this happens, just get on with it, knuckle down." And Charlie, as an individual, has found that quite difficult and wanted a place to come and take off the various masks he was carrying. Is that a fair summary of the container?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah? Okay. Simon, we haven't heard from you. Are you still there, mate?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Would you like to come in?
Oh, I don't think I've got anything to add apart from kind of gratitude that Charlie's found somewhere that he can speak about this and that's helped him.
Thanks, Simon.
Great stuff. All right. So, Katie, your timing's great because we're now going to take a 3-minute break.
I tell you, that's perfect after 3 hours of online training. It's just what I need.
Oh, does that work for you? All right, we'll take 5 minutes then. Does that work for everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can run
Hopefully
in
it's
the
a pea and a fag and a cup of tea if you
Only technically though.
only
Sounds
technically.
perfect.
Do we have
All
to
right,
come out then? Yeah.
See
You can
you
just
in
mute
10
it.
minutes. Yeah, just mute and switch off your video and then we'll be back. And is everyone all right still that we're recording this? If at any time you want the recording removed, just let me know. Okay. Hello, Lisa.
Hello. Sorry. On
Did I
another
catch
call.
you with, did I catch you with a mouthful of food?
Brownies, yes.
Oh, lucky you. Lucky you.
Hi,
Welcome back, Emma.
thank you.
Was Katie on the same call as you, Lisa?
No.
No. Okay. So Katie was also just saying she's gone from one call to another call.
It's all good. It's all good.
Ugh, I'm
I'm
exhausted.
boring you.
Sorry, excuse my yawn.
Don't say sorry.
Yeah. All right. Let's start again. Let's see who's back. All right. Emma, would you like to build a container?
Yeah. This is quite a tough subject, isn't it? I think with each like death, it's different with the circumstances that come with that death, the reasons why and behind it. And I think it's important to remember as well with grief is that it doesn't all come at once. So, like, for example, I lost a friend that I've known for 9 years, and he was an alcoholic as well. And he was getting better, and then he was 16 months sober, then he went back and where have you. And he did look to me for help a lot, but I had to keep my arm's length at the same time because I have to look after my sobriety. Because if I'm not looking after me, I can't help anyone else. But then came the other feelings of like survivor guilt, like could I have helped him more, and stuff like that. So feelings come later as well. So you've got to be prepared for all the feelings that come after, because it does take time, but it's about dealing with them in a positive way. You're never gonna. It's always going to be a shock, and it's always going to be sad, and it's about collecting all that information and processing it, and you've got to look at it in a really open mind. Like you've got to think of everything, and it's okay to take your time to do that, and it's okay to feel all them feelings that you're feeling. So, but yeah, I was just going to put that in there. But yeah. So how's everybody? How's everybody feeling?
Let's get everyone to check in, and then we can get a sense of where the container is.
Yeah, I was just about to say, how's everybody feeling on the topic?
Okay.
And I'll ask Alia if she's back.
Hi, I'm feeling good now. The council's sorted all the stuff so I can sit in the house rather than the car. But yeah, I feel good. Having a little cry. It sounds stupid, but always makes me feel better. I don't know. I don't know why. And I'm glad that I've spoke to all yous because other people are going through it. It's not just myself, if you know what I mean. So it's nice to hear other people's stories. So thank you so much, everybody. That's me.
Who are you tagging?
I'll go with Katie.
Thank you. Hello. Yeah, I'm feeling really motivated because although I moaned about being in other stuff today, it was actually really motivating and it was a good thing. It's part of my mandatory stuff. So that's really good. And I'm feeling motivated. It's really nice coming in and hearing, okay, not nice, but that you've been discussing these subjects that are always difficult and actually sometimes in society a little bit taboo to actually sit there and say these things. And I think it's really nice to be able to have a space to do that and learn to do that, unlearn all that, keeping it in. So yeah, I'm motivated. I'm very grateful to be in this space with you all. Thank you. And I will tag Simon.
Hi, I'm doing well, and yeah, reiterate that it's good that there's a space where we can have conversations like this and help other people out and get a bit more understanding.
Who are you tagging, Simon?
I'll tag JIT, please.
Yeah, just thanks, Simon. Just reiterating what everyone said. I guess normalizing this conversation because it's quite, especially in our culture and community, it's something we certainly don't talk about after it's all done or while it's happening. So a sense of relief, I guess, that it's quite an open, honest conversation here that that I haven't really encountered much within our community. But yeah. I'll tag Kai.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling quite good. I think when the topic was initially brought up, I think I had a bit of like do you know what you want to fucking slam your walls up type of reaction to it. And I thought that was quite interesting because for me, usually this is something I think I'm actually quite good at talking about. Usually, like what I'm feeling around it, I'm usually quite good at expressing that. But I don't know why, but just for some reason, maybe it's because I don't know you guys very well or something like that. But I had a sort of instant like fucking shut this out, get away from this type of thing. But I think now that it's actually been discussed, like. I don't know, in a way, like I'm enjoying it. I don't know, it's not like a particularly enjoyable thing, but it feels nice in a weird way to actually just like openly discuss it type of thing. So yeah, I'll pass on to Sohan.
You're muted, Sohan.
Thanks, David. Thanks. Yeah, it's made me reflective, but also grateful as well to be in this space, where like Kai, Leah, Charlie, and everybody kind of sharing sort of their kind of recent process of grief. But what it did for me is it made me think about all my losses. A lot of my losses I haven't even thought about over the years. And it just made me think about a paper I did at the university about 20 years ago as part of my counseling training, David. It was about loss and moving on. And that was the time when I began to understand what the grief process was, why it's important, why it's in our DNA. We got to feel to heal and all of that. That's when I started to learn. But I'm just remembering my best friend that I lost at the age of 7, 1 minute he's there, then he's disappeared. And my mum saying, oh, he's gone away, he's this, that, and the other. But nobody's in the family telling me that he's died. For a mother to tell her son, 7-year-old son, that his friend passed away, you don't do things like that. You don't speak about death near children like that, as if it's contagious, as if it might kind of get onto me, the superstition around it. It made me think about that. And it took me years. Can I share this quickly? It took me many years to get the facts on this 7-year-old friend, that passed away. Because I came to England, I think age 8 or 9, I came to England, all my family came here. And it was 25 years later, I went back to India. And my friend still on my mind. I actually went to his house 25 years later, speak to his mother, his sister, and get their view on what really happened. And they told me that he died. He was very ill. Family couldn't afford the medication for him. They couldn't take him to the doctor. They were poor, and they had to let him die. And they carried that guilt. But they remembered me as well. All of these years remembered me. If I would ever come back to India to visit them. So it's kind of made me think about that, the journey of loss and what it does to a young child, how it shapes, and then how the parents, especially within the Sikh culture, trying to prevent. It's like my mum still is superstitious. I can't tell my mum that if my friend passed away, I can't tell her that my friend's died. I can't say the word death or died. It just, I don't know, it's just superstitious. Jit can relate to that, I don't know. Others can maybe relate to that. But that's what it made me think about, you know, the importance of grief is built into us, and we have to feel. No one escapes grief. It's part of the human journey. Nobody is free from it, you know, but it's hard. It's not nice. It's horrible when the grief is upon us, when it visits us personally. It has that personal invitation in our life, and we hurt, we cry, we weep, and, you know, we, all sorts of things we do, you know, wishing and, you know, wanting God or higher power or spirit to kind of bring them back, and that, and yeah, that's what it took me. So yeah, Lisa or Emma, I don't know if you've already been. Emma, Lisa.
I've already been.
Hiya. Obviously, I've come into something that's been quite emotive this afternoon. I'm feeling okay. I'm just sort of needing probably to pick up what's going on.
Who hasn't been yet? Vanessa, did you go?
No. Well, a really strange things happened because I went into total panic mode. Everything was fine. And then I suddenly thought at the beginning of the meeting, my son was sat at the table with me to the side and drawing. And I told him for confidentiality reasons that he'd have to leave. And then I suddenly thought, oh my God, do you know, he's never addressed anything with his dad. And I suddenly felt so guilty that he could have got so much out of just listening, because he doesn't like to. He's never, well, we've got our way that we've dealt with things. And then suddenly I was just all panic stricken, thinking, oh, it would have been so good. I feel so bad again, so bad. But of course, for confidentiality reasons, he couldn't really be here, could he? So, but I feel like, and now I feel awful and everything, but I'll try to calm down again and put that all aside. And because this is great, really, like you say, you don't get many worse topics, but it's all about talking about it and everything. So yeah, so I'm back in the room, normal again. Thank you. And is that everybody?
Charlie, did you check
Emma?
in?
No.
Charlie,
my thanks to Vanessa. I think I'm feeling a sense of relief, actually. I think I'm feeling that it's all right to feel the way that I have been feeling. I've been terribly second guessing myself all week. I could feel myself reverting back to type, that old, where my accent gets a wee bit more stronger and I try and become a little bit more manlier, and my shoulders go back a wee bit more, and I puff my chest out, and I try and be this alpha male that I am not, but I try, I try and become this person. And I could feel myself, even my walk and my stance and my posture was getting a bit more, And I was like, this is not you, Charles. This isn't you at all. You need to let this go. So I'm feeling an incredible sense of relief that I've brought this to the container. It's just been lovely just hearing, as I said, hearing everybody speaking. It's just, do you know that way? I think it was maybe Kai said, where you just take a deep breath and you go, this is all right. This is actually all right.
Thanks, Charlie. Is that everyone checked in? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm checking in. So when Lisa came on the call, I just thought, oh fuck. This is a big topic that's certainly impacted the raw Lero a few weeks ago. And just to give some context, Lisa, Charlie lost a sponsee to suicide over the weekend. Yeah. So in terms of recovery coaching, and what we do is we build the container. Yeah, we create the safety of the container. and then the agenda comes from the client, and the agenda that's emerged today has been death again. And so it's looking at the lens of it from one, we're working in lived experience organizations where we're on the battlefield on a daily basis, and these things are going to happen. And then looking at it from a personal kind of perspective and how it happens to us as individuals. And just trying to I'll always say the only way that we can build emotional intelligence is to feel the fucking emotions that go with it. Yeah. You can't do, and this is just my opinion, and so if I've got this wrong, but for me, you can't do emotions unless you fucking feel them. You can't like do the PowerPoint of emotions, and it's actually just getting some emotional insight to what's happening physically in my body as these various emotions, my thinking, my cognition around how I'm reacting or responding to those, and how that's impacting other people that I might be working with. Yeah, does that make sense? So in the working in the clinic where there's a lot of this sort of stuff at times, I can become emotionally detached from it and then come across as cold and heartless. And even though I might be feeling cold and heartless, I still need to show up in a compassionate way, because whoever the family is that's going through this is to be there for them. So what we do as an organization is when this stuff happens, you do a review of all their professional roles. And then there's the personal side of things, the supervision around it, or the supportive vision around how you're impacted or how I'm impacted as an individual. So I might go for supervision and say, I'm so fucking angry of all this fucking death. I just want to go back to fucking fixing computers where you can switch them off and on. And if it doesn't work, you just tell the person to reboot again, and I can be very transactional around it. And I've got to watch for compassion fatigue, for getting that kind of burnout of just like, what I've personally got from this container is I feel very invigorated. I feel kind of elevated, and my spirit has picked up, over a topic that people generally shy away from. And I was deeply moved by you, Vanessa, and what you've brought to the container. Deeply moved. First of all, I really appreciated your vulnerability by saying, I don't know what the fuck to say. Those weren't your words. But and then you shared what you have been through, and now to follow up about your relationship as mother to son, and the concern you have as a mum, like, fuck, how can I help my son with this? Talk about the loss of his father. And personally, this is a personal thing. If you ever felt it would have been beneficial to bring him in, that would be okay for me. We check with the container. It's not like, oh, fuck it, we got to be professional. We can't talk about that. You can't, That's, we're not like, it's fucking here.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, it's obviously that all my sons were offered counselling and everything at the time, but it was a no way sort of thing, and I just felt like he was here and he could have sort of been here, and there you go. It's always thinking I've done the wrong thing. So
and that's where the work is.
Yes.
I can also always go to, so when I lost my nephew who'd been at the clinic, it was like, oh my God, what could I have done better? And what could I have done this?
If I'd asked him, if I'd asked you and said, can he would have gone.
But
I sit in there That's the guilt that I'm feeling, the indecision, the unknowing what to do for the best. So sorry.
No, don't apologize. Don't.
Mm.
Well, you're welcome to apologize, but there's no need to. Yeah.
Can I say something to Vanessa just quickly, David?
Please.
You know, whatever decision you made, however it came about right now, was the right decision, and you have to let it be, Vanessa. In another moment, things will be different. For now, this is the correct decision you made out here. I just wanted to share that with you because I'm connected.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. So what have you guys learned about coaching? About recovery coaching?
So I've learned that listening has such a big impact, a positive impact on somebody, just to even feel heard. And it's also nice to be with people, like be around people and speak to people that are going through the same thing, so you don't feel so alone. And it is normal, and time definitely is the biggest healer, and everybody grieves in different ways, everybody recovers in different ways. Life is just crazy, to be honest, but it's just who we have around us in our environment that means the most.
Thank you. Any other learnings?
Okay, so I know I've only just come in halfway through, but I've been in the session a few times, and actually coming in halfway through, the importance of building such a safe space, because already, you know, I come in halfway through, I haven't met some of the guys before, but instantly I felt okay. You know, it's like you've already created this space. And I think that's what I've learned, the importance of creating a safe space for people. Yeah.
So you can feel the container. You got that like level 3, like, ooh, there's a vibe here. Okay, good. Great.
I think compassion as well when walking in and reading the room. You know, you don't know what the subject is, but you've walked in, you read the room and you've listened and yeah. Don't know how to explain it.
No, you explained it beautifully about being like picking up the vibe and being respectful.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Simon?
I think I've learned how important that check-in is in setting the agenda, that you can't kind of predict that and where it's going to go, but it's very important.
Great stuff. Wonderful. Jit, have you learned something in this your first class here? And I'm so pleased you're here. I got to admit, I've got some fucking performance anxiety. It's like, oh fuck, I want Jit here. I want Jit here. Yeah.
Sorry, my thing just crashed. I've just come back in. Yeah, listening, 100% listening is it. One, it takes, for me, it took a lot of not negative emotions, but it made me feel calm. I'm always quite nervous about speaking up and stuff like that. So with everyone being so honest, you know, with their stories and their situations that they're in at present, it really made me feel, I guess, vulnerable in a way, to tell one the story about my grandfather, but also being able to say something, you know, because I'm quite not a nervous person. I'm quite a content person now, but also when it's a room full of people I don't really know, and you're not sitting in front of them actually. So yeah, I think that listening for me would be a great thing to do initially, rather than giving an opinion. or an idea, because that then makes me feel calmer to then be able to approach in a better way. Makes sense.
I've learned there's a lot to learn about recovery coaching.
Of course.
I have learned that it's okay to be vulnerable. That it's okay to be myself. That's what I've learned. To be my authentic self. I truly find that hard. I've always found it hard to be myself, and to show vulnerability is. I find it so difficult. But I know every time I show vulnerability, or I show the true Charlie who is busting to get out, whoever that is or whatever that is, I'm still a bit unsure. I'm sorry, I've got a plane flying over at the moment, so you can't hear me. I'm on a T6 flight path. But yeah, so that I'm in vulnerability and being to myself, and ultimately I'm being honest has been a relief today, and bringing this honesty to the container has invigorated me. It's kind of gave me where I was really anxious all morning. I think I was stressed because I was away up here. I was trying to push it down by saying, no, you're not stressed, you're okay. But I was really stressed. And I think by bringing it to the container is, it's been a kind of, hope that makes sense.
I feel that. I feel that. And Charlie, I just wonder if I may give you some feedback. Apart from when the training first started for a couple of hours, I've always experienced you as being very kind of authentic and open and honest, and yeah, I've personally found a lot of strength in that.
Thanks, David.
Yeah. And the reason I want to point that out for me is I hope that you can start to see that.
Mm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I especially liked where you said you became aware of that part of you that goes, "Oh, Paul, hit you on that way."
There'll be a murder.
There'll be a murder. A fucking British bastard. I've always loved that. And I love that I can play with you like that
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other learnings we want to capture?
I just want to say one thing. I love that you just openly swear and don't apologize for it. I've just been in a work meeting this morning for 2 hours, and everyone's prim and proper, and this feels a relief.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, go Sohan, go.
yeah. I'm just what have I learned? There's something about compassionate listening, and I think it said being present. When we listen, when we're present, and we listen from the heart, there's a different kind of a communication that takes place. There's a different, we talk about the container, the organic emergence. It creates like an intimacy, and then and a kind of a deeper connection, and that empathy kind of rolls in. It kind of streams into that present listening. So I've not really worded it like that before, but right now, that's my kind of description of one of the things I've learned today. And then also like with Charlie saying, you're talking about masking up and that. And now, there isn't a mask, you're talking about it's okay to be vulnerable. And I think that's a very, very powerful statement. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's a strength, not a weakness. It's a powerful, powerful strength. Thank you.
So, did you want to say something earlier?
No, sorry, I just come off the camera because I went to the loo.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. So, Jed, I'd love to go back to you, please, if I may. Yep.
Yes, of
And,
course.
and I just want to get curious about that meeting you were in, where you felt you had to kind of be kind of prim and proper, or whatever the fucking word is, and then the sense of relief you feel when you can hear some swearing and some, I'm going to say, some fucking human responses. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I work in it's quite funny you said someone said something before rebooting your computer and stuff. I work in IT, and that's what I always say to people. That's my profession, and I'm actually working right now, but I'm just shaking the mouse every so often to look like I'm here. And yeah, I truly, honestly, I believe through my lived experience and through what I've been, that this sort of work that I like to do now, and the setting up of Free in Recovery, and that's where my true heart and my true passion lies. Because you know, the compassion that you can give, just being human. You know, in IT, you're not human. You're just zeros and ones, really, ultimately. You know, and I think that part of my career and life is done, and I'm just seeing it out until we can sort of find something to pay my mortgage, I guess. But that's not the ultimate motivation. I see a lot of stuff in our community which is totally neglected by current systems and treatment services and all of that, which we always talk about. And I feel as though I can do something positive for my community, whether it's one person or 100 people. You know, and the fact that we can openly swear and not have to hide that, because you know you're talking in a work environment. You know, that's just something we've created, and we need to create something a bit more human. Otherwise, you know, we're not being true to ourselves, and this allows me to be true to myself. And I'm not going to tell everyone to F off all the time. Maybe just once in a while, you know, when my compassion sort of dies a death. You know, I'm being flippant, but yeah, this is where I truly feel I'm where I should be, or where I should be right now. So yeah, being open and honest, and being able to be vulnerable. Yeah, it hits home in a positive way for me.
So, language is really important, and contracting is even more important. So when I build a container and I contract and we check in, I'm always telling people, listen, I want to be my authentic self as best I can be, and sometimes my language unintentionally might offend. Yeah. So, for example, working in South Africa, when I use swear words in kind of Black conservative Christian containers, yep, it can be quite impacting for the audience that I'm trying to build rapport with. But once I kind of own it and bring it back, it creates a weird sort of safety. Does that make sense for everyone?
It's a breath of fresh air. I find a complete breath of fresh air just to be that authentic myself. And you know, I don't swear a lot, but I do swear at myself a lot more than I swear at other people. And it's nice to you know, if someone swears or whatever word they bring, it's good just to go, you know, we are just normal human beings in a normal world, and it's lovely to have that in a container. And I just wish that it was more outside. I could be more expressive or more myself, and know this political correctness I need to I need to be on guard for all the time, and what words I can say. It's not even swear words, it's just what words I can use, because I am always tripping up, especially with this wokeness and political correctness. A guy from Glasgow, honestly, I I catch grenades constantly, constantly. And I'm like, I've put my size 10s in it again. You know, it's yeah. So what I'm saying, it's a breath of fresh air. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's one less thing for you to have to think about if you can completely be comfortable with what the language you use anyway, and not have to think about that in terms of political correctness and everything. Then it's just, you know, easier. Makes you easier to be more authentic.
I think in this space, David, the intention behind use of certain words is not to offend or to insult. That's why it normalizes it. You know, it's okay. Communication is really, really important, because we have conversations like, you know, there are those that will swear, use vulgarity for the sake of it. Here, it's not for the sake of it. We can speak in so many different ways, but in a particular moment, that's the language you want to use. That's the language as it is. It's organic, it's spontaneous. The reason I say that, because we have in our recovery groups, it's a collective agreement. Yeah. You know, everybody kind of makes the effort to refrain from swearing. But there are moments, the only way you're going to express yourself, get things off your chest, is going to come out that way. And that is embraced. And that is okay, because it's not, people are not doing it for the sake of it. But people are doing it for the sake of it, and then it's different. You feel a different vibe, feel a different feeling. And then you've always checked it out, David. Is everybody okay with it? And if everybody's not okay with it, they will say. But everybody seems to be okay with it, because it's the intention behind it. Not to offend, not to insult, you know what I mean? Or not to undermine.
Yeah.
And when there's a lot of people in the group that thinks it's okay, there might still be the person that is really impacted by it, and they don't want to say that they're impacted, because the majority of the group is going, yeah, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So listen for that too. And whenever I say, does that make sense? Yeah, that's my anxiety speaking around my enthusiasm, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. It's not implying like, fuck, are you lot stupid? Like, I'm not making, you know, that can come across as, that's my anxiety. And my humor is my anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'm very good in a crisis situation, because I know how to operate. Yep. But when things are normal, that's when my anxiety comes up, and that's when I mask with humor. So, Jip, when I was working in banking in IT support, yep, when the IT systems went down, I was great, because I could fix things and calm people down. When everything was running, I'd behave in a way that, well, David's very good at his job, but he's very inappropriate, and he doesn't take his work seriously. And I mean, he would never be management or leadership material. It's just, no, we couldn't consider him. Yeah, but we'll keep him on the sidelines for when things really go wrong. But do you know, and that's a dance that I've had to kind of navigate and to live with. Right. we lost Lisa. And my anxiety is saying, oh no, we did something wrong. It's me. Oh. God, I'm crippled with self-centered thinking. Fuck. All right, everyone. Well, if it's okay, I'm going to start to close down the container, if that's all right. It's such a nice turnout. And thank you for letting us record it. Yeah. And Jit, I'm really pleased you've joined. We'll know if this way was good to see if Jit comes back next week.
Yeah, I'll be here.
The most important thing of the first coaching session is the person comes back for the second session. Okay.
No, I want to say just thank you for letting me be here today. Yeah, really appreciate it.
That's great. Would you like to tag someone, Jit?
Vanessa.
Yes, I've calmed down again after my little thought pattern in the 3-minute break. And yes, it's been fantastic. I was so nervous because of, like I say, this is a first Zoom. I'm not used to it, and it's totally different way of communicating, and on such a topic as well. You know, not to be in person, that's huge, but I felt very comfortable, and it's lovely to meet you all, and I look forward to next week. Thank you.
Fantastic having you here, Vanessa. Good. Who are you tagging, Vanessa?
I'll tag Sohan.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, for me, it's been a really grateful. It's been a really good session, and I feel grateful and good to see everybody, you know, in this space, and good to see you again, Charlie. Missed you last week, and good to see everybody again, but also good to see you in the meeting today, and Kai as well, and you, Vanessa, and Simon. Yeah, thank you for everybody's input today. It's been really good. Thank you. Good to see you again, Elia. Thank you.
And you, thank you.
So Sohan, what's one takeaway from today's container that would be good for you in your role at your organization?
It'd be more self-reflection. How we can use self-reflection as a way of communication with the team.
Right.
Makes sense.
Hey?
Don't know if that makes sense. Self-reflection.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense for me. I just feel, oh, fuck, thank God I asked a question, because I'd never know how to put that in a PowerPoint to teach. So here's leadership skill number 41 to take into the workplace. Who did you tag, Sohan?
Charlie.
Thanks, Emma Sohan. When I came on the call, I was anxious, I was tired, I was stressed, and I just didn't know where I was. And I feel so grateful, like Emma Sohan, that I've been here and I brought this to the container, because I feel normal since Monday. I feel almost like I'm all right again. Like I'm all right. I was just questioning myself, and I'm like, yeah, you're starting to come back now. I'm starting to come back down from that week. So I just feel really, really grateful that I've come on the call and I've listened to all yous. So I just want to say my thank you to every single one of you. It's been a great call. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Who are you tagging, Charlie?
I will tag Emma.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel grateful. I don't know, really. I feel like I'm reliving certain situations of my own, to be fair. But that's a good thing. It's good not to forget the things that you might have struggled with before. But yeah, positive, excited to look forward to the future and everything. So yeah. I don't know who hasn't gone.
Simon, Alia.
I I'll tag. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Emma. I'm feeling quite relieved. Like, it's hard for me to cry, so I'm glad that I've had a little bit of a cry and I feel positive. And I also sometimes I feel stupid when I say, oh, like about my nana and about being in addiction, because I don't want to sort of look like it's like self-pity, because it was my own doing, my own choices. So thanks for making me feel comfortable, everybody, and understanding. I really appreciate everyone's support. Thank you again. I'll give it over to who hasn't spoke?
Simon.
Simon.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Challenging session, but really interesting to see where the conversation went, and that's the thing I'm taking out of it, that listening is so important to setting that agenda and where the conversation goes. And I'll tag Kai.
Yeah, I'm checking out quite good. I think this is more sort of my speed than like the in-person coaching was. And this is my sort of like, I think you can probably tell that as well, but this is, you know, I enjoy this sort of, it's weird to say I enjoy it, I think, because it's a fucking, you know, it's been a topic that's obviously very like close to home to me, but it's been nice wanting to talk about it, and then I think even more so to listen to other people type of thing. And it's been helpful, I think. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I just want to say I didn't realize what an impact having the 3-day training in Middlesbrough had on top of you with being your using ground and what you've told us today. So yeah, it's lovely to see you engaged today. Okay, thank you. Katie, have you been?
No, I haven't. Okay, I feel pissed off that I missed the first half. I'm going to make sure that I've got no more clashes going forward, because it sounds like it was something, first of all, that I would have benefited from, and also that I could have contributed to, I think. I also feel really grateful to be in such a space that it's made me feel just instantly comfortable. And I also want to say that I can feel this stuff is helping me already. The call that I was in previously was with the CEO of the company, and you could not shut me up. I'm coming into my authentic. I think what I've realised over the past week is that I've always dimmed my light because of, you know, my experiences and that. So I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want to be saying things when actually I'm naturally that person, and I'm naturally enthusiastic, and I've dimmed that down a lot over the years. So hold on to your hats. I might be talking a lot in the next few weeks. So yeah, thank you. It's just lovely. Thank you.
Bless you, Katie.
I can send you a link to the recording if you want, Katie.
Yes, please. I would like that. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Is that everyone?
Apart from you.
So I check out with pride. I feel very proud to be part of this with you all. Very proud. It's I was quite tired coming onto the call, and I'm leaving invigorated and filled with meaning and purpose. So thank you all for that. Lots and lots of love. I'll see you all next week. Yeah.
See you next week, guys. Bye.
Yeah, see you next week. Have a good
Bye,
week.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.